Alright, what's up you guys? I'm here with my WWE Hell in a Cell 2018 pay-per-view review. And, like I always do, I'm going to give a star ratings for the matches, and then overall, at the end, I'm going to do a letter grade. This one was pretty easy to grade. I think this was a good pay-per-view, but we'll get to that at the very end. So, on the pre-show, we had The New Day versus Rusev Day. Aiden English and Rusev. And this was for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team titles. This match lasted 8 minutes and 55 seconds, which is kind of short. But it was a faster paced match, so it's not like it was just rest holds for 7 minutes. It was a faster paced match. And then the finish, we had Aiden English go off the ropes in a really cool way, and then to Trouble in Paradise. So I really like how they did the Trouble in Paradise there. And Kofi Kingston got the win. And we have The New Day retaining their tag team titles. And then the opening match. And before I get to that, obviously you saw we have the red Hell in a Cell structure now. I'm assuming they just painted the original. It really looks like the Universal title belt color. It's like that exact kind of red. So, do I like it? Not really, but it's not something that I'm going to bitch about. The structure has evolved. The original structure I think was 16 feet high, and then the current one's I think 20 feet, and now it's painted. So it's evolved. It's not like they changed the original just now. It's always evolved, so I'm fine with it. It's not something I'm gonna bitch about. And honestly, it wasn't like ugly. Like it was kind of cool looking at certain shots. Yes, I'd rather have the original, but I'd also rather have the blue steel cage. So, you gotta sometimes just deal with the change. But this match lasted 25 minutes. And of course we had Jeff Hardy come out in his really cool retro Attitude Era mesh shirt, if you remember that, going way back. So that was really cool. Like the early TLC matches, you had that that kind of Hardy Boys style, and I was really glad he brought it back, so that was cool. This match was very hard-hitting, and it really didn't pull any punches. You had a lot of chair spots. You had some ladders, and Jeff Hardy actually took a front suplex in between one of the ladders. It was a shorter one. And then we had, like I said, some chair shots. We had back and forth, very kind of paced, kind of slow starting out, but then it kind of picked up, which was nice. And then Jeff Hardy's belt came off. I'm assuming Randy Orton ripped it off. I didn't see how it came off, but it got ripped off. And Randy Orton was basically whipping him with the leather side. And then later on in the match, Jeff Hardy whipped him with the metal studded side. And if you know what kind of belt I'm talking about, like kind of the ones you find at Hot Topic with like the studs on them, Randy Orton got busted open pretty bad on the back and the thigh. I think his ankle got hit. Like, he was bleeding pretty bad. And this was a bloody pay-per-view. There was a lot of blood in this pay-per-view. And I'm not complaining. So, yeah, I don't know if that was intentional to draw blood, or if he's like, oops, wrong side. I don't know. But the finish, we had Randy Orton on the table. And, Jeff Hardy set up 2 ladders like he used to, And then, you had the smaller one, and then so he could leap off over the bigger one like he used to. And he climbed the structure, so he's, pretty high up. And then he goes to swing, but then Randy Orton moves. I thought he moved a little too early, in my opinion. But then Jeff Hardy just belly flops onto the table. The referee calls for help. The cell starts going up, and then Randy Orton's like, no, do your job, I'm going to pin him. So he pins him 1, 2, 3. They take Jeff Hardy out on the stretcher. And it's not the bump everyone wanted. I think everyone's like, oh, he's going off the top. honestly, I didn't see him doing a swanton off the top. I just don't think Vince would let that happen. It's too dangerous. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that, but, I think this match was, I thought there was some great effort here. And I gave this one 3 3/4 stars, so 3.75 out of 5. I really enjoyed this match. I really did. And like I said, it was 25 minutes, so the longest match of the night. And then we had Becky Lynch defeating Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. That's right, Becky Lynch is now your Women's Champion for SmackDown. And I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to be kind of a slow burn, let this rivalry go out, and then eventually she wins it at Super Showdown or Evolution or something like that. And this match lasted 13 minutes and 55 seconds. I thought this was a good women's match. There was some sloppiness to it at some points, like Becky Lynch. She kind of fell short when she went off the top rope and Charlotte was supposed to catch her. But other than that, this was a good match. And the pin was actually really unexpected. You had off the rope and then kind of like a topsy-turvy roll-up pin. And I just was not expecting it. I thought Charlotte was going to kick out. And, this was kind of your average women's match. It was good back and forth. And a lot of people expected a double turn or just Charlotte to win. So it was a pleasant surprise for Becky to win. I'm a huge Charlotte fan. But, Becky Lynch, I'm not going to deny that she does deserve the SmackDown Women's title. I just kind of wish they would have waited a little bit. But, this match, I'm going to give it... Let me scroll down here. I gave it 3 1/4 out of 5. So 3.25. I thought it was good. And then after the match, Charlotte went to basically congratulate her. And then Becky Lynch heel did not accept it and walked out with the title. So no double turns or any turns for that matter. Next up, we had Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose for the Raw SmackDown, the Raw Tag Team titles. It's been a long day. This match lasted 22 minutes and 50 seconds. I felt like this match went a little long. There was a point where I was like, yeah, it probably should have ended by now. And the reason I say that is because, this was a good back and forth match. And near the end, we were getting a lot of near falls. To the point where I'm sure a lot of people were annoyed. I don't mind near falls personally, as long as you don't overdo it. And I think it kind of was a little overdone here. You had false finishes, and then, of course, near falls. But overall, I thought Dean Ambrose actually kind of took the back seat in this match a little bit. I think Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler really showed off in this match, and they really did a good job. This was a fantastic match. And Drew McIntyre looked phenomenal, too. You had Drew McIntyre took a frog splash. I thought that was going to be it. He took a frog splash to the back from Seth Rollins. We even saw Seth Rollins do a one-winged eagle, which was really cool. Little New Japan Easter egg there. But overall, we had a lot of back and forth false finishes, and then finally, Dolph Ziggler gets the pin. Drew McIntyre broke up a little scuffle they were having, and then Dolph Ziggler got the pin. So, a lot of outside action here with Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre. I thought they both took a back seat, but still a great match. I gave this match 4 out of 5 stars. I just felt like there was maybe a little too many false finishes. Like, it could have went maybe 2 minutes less. Because it was to the point where I just did not know where it was going to end. The crowd was really into it. I was really into it watching it. It was just exciting because you just had no clue what it was going to happen next. So, yeah, next up we had in the middle of the card, once again, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE title. I wish this would at least go second to last. It's just kind of depressing to see it mid-card, but, like like I always say, it is what it is. What can you do? AJ Styles and Samoa Joe for the WWE title. You know, obviously they had their SummerSlam match, went to DQ. And, you know, in my opinion, this was a better match. We had a very, very well-paced match. There wasn't any slow points. There wasn't any, like, too fast points. Like, it was very well-paced, and I really appreciated that. And this match went 19 minutes. And if anything, I thought this one could have went a little longer. And that kind of goes with the finish, though, which I'll get to. But we had a lot of teasing of the announce table, so I thought maybe at the very end, you know, after the match, we'd have a table spot or something. And we actually had AJ Styles take a pretty nasty shot to the side of the table, like one of those classic Benoit bumps to the table, the announce table. And, you know, we had a lot of outside action. You know, there was a pretty brutal kick to AJ Styles on the outside by the barrier. You know, we had some stair shots. AJ Styles just went flying over the stairs after being thrown. And, you know, AJ Styles really looked good in this match, and so did Samoa Joe. Like I said, very well paced back and forth. And then the finish, we had the Coquina Clutch, and basically, if you remember WrestleMania 8, Bret Hart, how he pinned Roddy Piper. He kicked off, did a backflip, and pinned. That's exactly what happened here, except there was no kickoff. Basically, AJ Styles, you know, flipped back, got the pin, and Samoa Joe was confused, you know. He was pissed off because it was a roll-up. And you later found out that AJ Styles tapped before the pin, so that warrants a second or a third match. And overall, I thought it would have been better if we had Samoa Joe just win clean, because personally, I'd rather have a bunch of clean finishes than screwy or DQs. You know, screwy finishes, I'm not a big fan. I just kind of wish that Samoa Joe would go over clean here, and then so we could have another match later down the line. But, yeah, overall this was a very good match. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars as well. I think with a better finish, this could have been highly improved. But, you know, they got to keep the rivalry going. And before this, actually, we had a New Day segment. I figured I just might as well mention it. They were just basically foreshadowing and, I guess, kind of referencing their Super Showdown match with the Bar. And, you know, they had the Gatorade, you know, like, I'm not a big football fan, but you'll know what I mean. When they dump the Gatorade, they have the big Gatorade container, and they had pancakes in them. So that was a nice little move there. But next up, we had The Miz and Maurice versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. The mixed tag match. This match went 13 minutes. And this was very, very average. It did what it had to do. And, you know, there's not much to say about this one, really. I gave it 2 3/4, so 2.75 out of 5. You know, I had predicted that Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella were going to win. I really did. And I was wrong. The Miz and Maurice got the win. And really, this wasn't very memorable. And it really seemed like The Miz and Daniel Bryan got a big portion of the match. And then Brie Bella and Maurice kind of came in at the last kind of act of the match. And, yeah, not much to say about this one. You know, I'm looking forward to their rematch at Super Showdown for the #1 contendership. So that'll be interesting. I'm assuming Daniel Bryan's going to win that one for sure. You kind of have to. So, overall, a decent match. I'm not a fan of mixed tag matches at all. But, you know, Miz and Daniel Bryan, they're 2 of my personal favorites in the current roster. So, well done, mixed tag match. Next up, we had Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title. This match went a lot longer than I thought it would. And really, you know, Ronda Rousey, of course, came out with Natalya. Alexa Bliss had Alicia Fox and Mickie James. I don't know what Alicia Fox was wearing. She looked like a swan train conductor. Like, she was dressed up like a swan, but she had like a train conductor's hat that was like bedazzled. Like, I don't even know what the hell she was wearing. But yeah, her and Mickie James were with Alexa Bliss, and this was a very slow and just boring match. You know, you had a lot of Alexa Bliss's heel. You know, she was just yelling at her. And, you know, I like Alexa Bliss. I think she's a great heel. But it's very clear that she just wasn't going to win. You know, this was a very predictable match. And eventually, you know, you had the armbar for the win. This went 12 minutes and 5 seconds. A lot longer than their SummerSlam match. And quite honestly longer than I thought this one was going to go. And, you know, Alexa Bliss tapped before she even put the armbar in. It was like half a second. Like, so yeah, Ronda Rousey, still your women's champion. And then after that we had Samoa Joe and Paige. This was interesting. I actually liked this a lot. They had a backstage segment, and Samoa Joe, you know, obviously wants a rematch. And she said, well, you gotta wait 3 weeks for Super Showdown. And he's like, well, I think you should make it no DQ. And she agreed. So I'm assuming we're going to get no disqualification at Super Showdown for the final Samoa Joe and AJ Styles match. So, next up, we had Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Hell in a Cell match for the Universal Fruit Roll-Up Championship, as I call it. As a lot of people call it. And this counted as Braun Strowman's Money in the Bank cash-in. And this match lasted 24 minutes, and it honestly didn't feel like that. It actually felt like a lot less. But there was a lot of action here, especially at the end. This started out as your normal Hell in a Cell match. You know, you had kendo stick, you had chairs, you had Roman Reigns do a spear through the table, and, you know, we had the steel steps. That was actually pretty funny. Roman Reigns basically runs around half the cell and just takes a stair shot to the head, you know. So I just love the sound of steel steps hitting someone in the head. What can I say? I'm surprised they actually still let him do stairs to the head. If you're not allowed to do chairs, why can't you do stairs? Like, I don't know. So, and also we had Mick Foley as a special guest referee, who didn't really come into play very much. You know, he was really only here to promote his one-man show on the network afterwards for the 20th anniversary of his match with Taker. So, not very far into it, we had Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose coming out to stop Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre because they had run out previously. And they climbed to the top, and, you know, they're just kind of battling to the top. Dean Ambrose comes out. He came up last. He had a kendo stick magically attached to his back. And, you know, Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins, if you remember in Hell in a Cell 2014, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, you know, they hit each other off, and they fell off into the announce tables at the same time. That's basically what happened for this one. So, you know, it's something we've seen before, but I thought actually this one looked better. And they had a really cool camera shot, sounded great. So, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins went through the announce tables together. And so, okay. And I actually forgot to rate the Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey match. I gave that 1.5 out of 5 stars. Forgot to mention that. But this one, it was rumored that Brock Lesnar was backstage by a few sources. And what do you know? We hear Brock Lesnar's music, comes out. He has a full beard now. So he comes out with Paul Heyman, so that's important. At least Paul Heyman's still here. It was a lot of questions about whether or not he was still going to be with the company. I guess this answers the question on if Brock is leaving. I don't know. It's kind of interesting where we're going to go from here. But Brock Lesnar comes out, kicks the door down, one shot, and goes in F5 Braun Strowman, and then F5's Roman onto Braun Strowman. and then the referee calls a no contest. A no contest in a Hell in a Cell match. You know, they promote it as being the most brutal match. You know, it's no disqualification, no stopping it, no matter what. And then now it's just a no contest. This match I'm going to give 2.25 out of 5. I really don't think it was all that enjoyable. You had some good run-ins. Honestly, the most enjoyable parts were Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and then Ziggler and McIntyre. And then the no contest. Like, you can't rate it any higher. There was not a definitive finish. I at least thought Roman was going to go over and pin Braun Strowman or something like that. And it just kind of ended abruptly. And yeah, so it was pretty surprising, actually, that it didn't surprise me that Brock came out. It surprised me that they deemed it a no contest. I just don't know what they were thinking, but whatever. 2.25. It was a decent Hell in a Cell match. Definitely not the worst. So, overall, the pay-per-view itself, the letter grade I'm going to give is a B-. I enjoyed a really good portion of it, and I thought we had a great tag match in there. We had great WWE title match, pretty good SmackDown Women's title match, and a good Hell in a Cell opener. So, B- for me personally. Let me know down below what your thoughts are, your ratings, your letter grade, all that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.